Hi everyone, how's it going? And welcome back to the Dialogue Dome. My name is Max and this is Brendan, and today we're going to be talking about something near and dear to everyone's hearts out there, video games.
Yes.
Isn't it wonderful?
The only topic that everyone can relate to, and is probably who's listening to this.
Oh, probably, I don't know. Everyone out there, I mean, like you've played video games. You're a video
Yes.
gamer,
Yes,
right?
I've played so many video games, I made my background piss yellow for this, to show how many times I've
Exactly.
pissed my pants during video games.
No, remember that era of video games way back in like the early 2000s where everything was just piss yellow for some
Yeah,
reason.
no, I
All the
know.
trailers, all the games, everything.
There was a long time where I feel like just video games in general, like the trend was to put some kind of color filter and have the whole game feature that one color filter. Like Fallout was the most famous one. Fallout 3 is the most famous one with that green, and Todd Howard talks in a documentary about how many times they looked at the color green. But like then the other one was like Assassin's Creed. The first one was like all light blue. And
Very
it's just
blue.
it was
Yeah,
weird how everything kept like
yeah.
a color filter on it. It was so weird.
I just never understood that era in the early 2000s where they decided that yellow was the appropriate color to put as the filter over everything.
Yeah, well, at least we figured out the whole blue light problem early, right?
Right? Right?
Yeah. Man.
Anyway. So we're talking video games today. I specifically want to talk about some of our like early memories in the video gaming sphere, and like ending today on probably like what are some of our favorite games that we've been
currently out
introduced to. Stuff that's current, and maybe even some of the stuff that's coming out that we're excited for, what we're interested in.
For sure.
So well, I mean, I'll toss that over to you. What is like your earliest video game experience?
My first ever one started a lot later than most people, because I was part of that group of people whose parents did not like video games, thought they were a waste of time, thought that they were unproductive, thought that they were, ironically thought at the time that those were violent games. My first ever video game my first ever game console was the GameCube. That was my first ever one, and I got this.
Late.
It is late, but you know what? It's okay, because I experienced what is now considered one of the best classic consoles out there. And
sure, fair.
It was the weirdest shade of purple I've ever set my eyes on, and it was my first game that I ever played on. It was Super Mario Sunshine. That was the big
Nice.
GameCube launch exclusive that came out with that console. And
nice.
I find it ironic that today that is considered to be one of the hardest Mario games ever made. I find that very interesting, because I started off with an incredibly difficult title and now I play everything on easy. But yeah, so I'm not kidding you, that was my only game for probably 7 years. I played that game almost every day, beat it a billion times, for 7 years, because I didn't know when my mom, because I had no money at the time, I didn't know when my mom was ever going to buy me another video game, so I just played what I had,
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. What about you?
Oh, that's I'm going to date myself.
Well, we're both 30 years old, so we're already dating ourselves. Go ahead.
Yeah, but you started with the GameCube. I'm talking about Windows 95.
Oh, wow.
PC.
Wow.
is like some of the first memories I have in video gaming.
Really? Wow.
It was an old gateway computer that my mom had in the basement that she allowed me to play some games on sometimes. And we played Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness. And I remember there were a lot of Doom clones that I had. Bad Toys 3D, Chex Quest.
Oh wow, Chex Quest. I haven't heard that in a long time. Yeah, it's going
right?
back.
But I fucking loved it though. That was because like my mom wanted me to avoid violent video games, so I couldn't actually get Doom itself, one of the best video game franchises id Software has ever put out, next to Commander Keen. Uh, but so we got stuff that were like Doom, and it just so happens that Chex wanted to put a video game in their cereal box, and
That's
it
fair.
worked.
Yeah, it worked. It
It's
got the
one
job
of the
done, right?
it's one of the best games anyone could ever play or has ever played. And it's so simple, but I love it so much. It's so stupid.
Oh man. That's
But
good.
that's like my first intro into video gaming, and my first console is this old school Windows 95 gateway computer.
Oh my god, Gateway. I remember the cow computer. That's what we all
Yep.
called it, the cow computer.
Yep.
It was oh man. I remember, so a little funny story for you. I we had I don't remember what we had before. I think it was another Gateway, but I think it was so bad. Like, it was a terrible computer, and it was something that my mom worked on documents for. Like, so she, like, back when Microsoft Office wasn't even a thing, it was just Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, and that was it. And you know, it was a computer that was just, it wasn't great. It was just for kind of documents and working. And my mom, for Christmas one year, bought me, I remember, I think I was like 7 years old or something, or 8. She bought me the CD version of Tonka Construction.
Oh,
remember those games?
Those Tonka games were so good.
They were so good. I'm like considering like looking for a retro copy I can record with you someday.
Right?
Like, that would be so fun.
Man.
Yeah, but so yeah, the joke I'm trying to make here is that it didn't work on the computer at all.
No.
The computer was so bad. So my mom, I am not kidding you, because my mom was so pissed off at this whole thing because she hated video games. She hated the fact that her computer was running slow. Anyway, she's like, she bought a whole new computer just for the Tonka Construction. And in the result, she got a better computer for her work too. So it was an investment for both her and for little me. But you know, it was just so funny to me. Tonka Construction. I remember spending hours on Tonka Construction.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. That brings back some memories.
Yeah, and that was after I played Sunshine. So that wasn't that was like when I was like, I think it had to have been when I was like 10 years old or something.
Really?
But yeah.
Not bad though. There's a lot of those games though out there. Like you said, Tonka Construction.
Another one, Magic School Bus series.
I missed those.
The Magic School Bus series, yeah. That was I mean, obviously by the way, can you believe that cartoon came out in like 1992 or something like that?
Right.
It's like, or something. It was something like that. Let me actually look up the actual date here.
There's a lot of those that kind of passed me by, unfortunately. Magic School Bus was one of those. I know of it. I've seen episodes of it, especially when they're talking about the planets in the solar system, and Arnold like kills himself on Pluto. Like
what an idiot.
I know
who
right?
who like oh my god, lift your fucking helmet off while you're on the coldest planet in the known solar system. Yeah, he would have been dead in real life. It came out in 94, by the way, 1994.
Oh, I gotcha. But see, a lot of those shows weren't like educational shows weren't necessarily popular around me. They were good. They were there, but they're not the ones that I watched.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the reason why Magic School Bus was such a big part of my life was because it aired every morning before school. So like that was kind of what I watched to like wake up, so to speak, before coffee existed in my system. and then and 'cause even then coffee doesn't wake me up now. But
Fair.
yeah, so I remember particularly keeping the
Going back to
conversation on
video games.
video games. It's relatable because Magic School Bus was a video game series, and so we had. I mean, the most famous episodes are, the Solar System one, which is the first one
Right.
that ever came out, and that's the most famous one, particularly because that was the first time a kids show or an animated show had ever actually talked about outer space. So that's kind of why it was revolutionary, and they made a whole game about it. The other one was the Magic School Bus. It's an ocean game. I forget what it was specifically called, but it was about the coral reefs and about the kelp reefs and about the deep ocean. And it just explored a lot of the different stuff. And it was based on an episode, but they made a whole game into it, and it was a really, really fun game. And those are the two I remember the most. And then there's one about the jungle too, but I never really played that one. But yeah, there's some you could learn some really incredible. It was like very educational. Scholastic did a really, really smart move with making those, I think.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
I think,
and
that
it was school
very
approved. So like,
Right.
what do you call it?
Oh, of course,
it was
you could
on the school
play
computers
them all the time.
Yeah.
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 Perfect. I don't know. There's a lot of those early memory games. Like a lot of those educational games were fun that I remember playing. But they were definitely school. Like I played them at school, and when I got home, I played different things that kept my mind occupied, and stuff that was not so violent, but still fun and problem solving, puzzles and whatnot. Chip's Challenge was definitely another one that came to my mind, and there's this other one scratching the back of my head where it's like penguins or something.
Not Club Penguin.
No. Early shit. It's what do I even call this? Because it wasn't about the penguins themselves. You were thrown into this world, and you just clicked on stuff, and they did random things. There was one where you could like make music, and there was another scene where you would like you're in this one penguin's apartment, and then you're in a conductor's whatever, and you're out on the town at night doing something else. You're at the farm doing what have you over there, and it was mostly like a fidget toy, but in video game form. And I'm having a hard time thinking of what this was called.
For those that listening on the podcast, Max is furiously typing at the moment.
I am.
What was your first quote unquote violent game that you play? Because we all have that stage where it's like, okay, we've played these educational games, and then suddenly, or at least for me, then out of nowhere, I was like, I wonder what else is out there, and then I found one that was like, considered not educational by any standards.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, we should,
because I know exactly what mine is.
We should clarify violent, I guess. Are we talking M rating? My first M rated
The
game?
first one that your parents would not approve of.
Oh, Bad Toys 3D, straight up. My mom told me not to play that game. Like, she saw me playing it one time and said, You're not playing that anymore. I didn't understand why. I didn't get it at the time, but it's a violent game. It's a Doom clone where you go around shooting these toys.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Nope, that's the game. Yeah, that's what that is. Yeah. Yeah, and I remember actually, side topic, completely side topic. I remember there was a, for some reason it just comes to my head. I think it was PlayStation, but there's a Toy Story soldier game. I remember that. Oh my god, I can't remember what it was called. It was a complete. It was a game that was completely based off of those toys. Hold on. Toy Story Soldier game. I know it's here. I know
I
it's
know
here.
there's Army Men.
Army Men is it's kind of, yeah, it's basically that. But
Uh-huh.
Toy Story did a
Interesting.
one of a kind of like a clone of those. But anyway, yeah, it was basically a not as violent version of Army Men. But anyway,
Gotcha.
my first game was Command and Conquer Red Alert 2.
Nice.
That one, I mean, that's a classic. Like that,
For sure.
that's the first. I mean, that's back in the day when it was top down, 8-bit, all that stuff, and it was the first time that the music and the voice acting was not like bad quality either. It was like stereo
Sure.
quality. I remember that was a big deal. It was like stereo quality audio, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a big one. We don't talk about Red Alert 3.
Fair.
But yeah, Red Alert 2. That was my first violent game, and it was
Nice.
like my mom couldn't really stop me because I was like 16 or 15 at the
Sure.
time, and my mom was like, "Why are you playing as the Soviet Union?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a campaign, Mom." And she's like, "Well, why don't you play as the Allies?" And I said, "Because they're not as cool," which is hysterical to say out of context today, but.
Right.
In that game, it's true. They made the Soviet Empire or the Soviet Union. They made that campaign like the most badass part of the game, and then the Allies were just trying to survive. And then
Right.
the Red Alert 3 introduced this new one called the Empire of the Rising Sun, which is Japan, and
Right.
it's George Takai is in that one, which was just the
Oh,
funniest thing ever.
but I
Oh
love
man.
George. I
Oh, I
love
do too, but
George.
it's hysterical that he plays as the Japanese, like, what do you call it? Shogun Empire,
Mm.
Shogun Emperor, excuse me. And he's just like, just so he's like, surrender or you'll cease to exist. It's the funniest thing ever. Oh my god. I don't know what they were thinking. And in Red Alert 3, um, they hired Tim Curry. Is that his name?
Tim Curry?
Yeah,
Like Rocky Horror Picture Show Tim Curry?
I believe so. Hold on, let me
All
make
right.
sure of that. Yes, Tim Curry. He was
Tim
the
Curry.
Soviet. He was the premier, the Soviet premier in
All
Red
right
Alert
then.
3. They got some EA got some very famous actors for that game.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good
I wanted
stuff.
to make sure that was correct before I said anything more.
Sure, sure,
Yeah,
sure.
because it was like, it was something, man. So yeah, Red Alert was like my series for a while. But then,
Nice.
what was the first for you? What was the first game? What was the first game graphically that wowed you? And like, it doesn't
So,
have to be modern day graphics. It could be
right, right,
anything
right,
you
right.
said wow to.
Um, well, I think at that point I'd probably have to jump ahead a little bit in my console eras and talk probably about the N64. Um,
Okay.
cause like 3D had been done, right? Chex Quest has like this minor 3D thing going on. It's a Doom clone. You pan around and look and what have you, but it wasn't until um uh GoldenEye, 007 GoldenEye on the
Oh, that's a classic.
N64 that
And
really just kind of branched everything
and
out
plays like
in
shit today.
oh, it's awful. The graphics now fucking not even the face models, all of it looks like shit. Blocky and clunky garbage.
Yeah, it really does.
But uh the first person shooter and the storyline that it went through, because I mean at that point I hadn't even actually seen the movie, right? I
Fair.
hadn't seen GoldenEye, so I didn't know what was going on. I'm the secret agent going around doing whatever secret agents do, and it was just, I don't know, it was so awesome being that, and the history that that game spawned from all of it was just absolutely insane. I could go on about like all of the history alone.
Right.
I don't know. It's such a good game though.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
I mean, GoldenEye definitely created the foundation that we see for first-person shooters today. I mean, it really
Exactly.
did. For anything from the camera angle to the gun being
Mhm.
slightly in view but like not completely in view to the
Right.
um what's it
The
called?
multiplayer
The
aspect.
multiplayer to the HUD. I mean, really, it's
Mhm.
everything.
It
Everything.
was
I mean,
everything.
that and Call of Duty. Call of Duty 2 was really the one that made
Mhm.
modern day first person shooters kind of like a trend.
Sure.
It's hysterical to play Call of Duty 2 today because
Mhm.
it does still adapt to modern. They built the game engine so that it could run on literally any screen resolution. So when
Mhm.
you do play it on current day resolution, the HUD, it adjusts to what you're looking at. It does a very good job of it. But what's hysterical is that the animations didn't account for a full screen wide monitor. So when
Right.
you're reloading some of the weapons, you see the animation literally take the magazine out and put it back in again. So it's hysterical kind of to watch that because it was supposed to go off the screen and then back
Mhm.
on, but now it doesn't do that anymore. But the first one that really wowed me was again, you have to remember that I started games later than most people. So
Right.
mine was Super
Yeah.
Mario Galaxy. That was my
Nice.
first one. I think what blew my mind about Super Mario Galaxy was one, the graphics. At the time,
Mhm.
Nintendo games and everything looked pretty good. But for me, Super Mario Galaxy was really where graphics started to become a priority for a lot of devs. They could see when
Sure.
the Wii came out, you could see what the console was capable of at the time, which was a lot. And I think what really blew my mind about Super Mario Galaxy was just the level design with the gravity and all that stuff. And half the
Mhm.
time you're upside down, and yet it still makes sense. It's just it
Right.
was so cool the way they did that. And I remember finishing through Super Mario Galaxy, and that was kind of like the Super Mario Sunshine sequel I'd always wanted when I was a kid.
Mhm.
So Super Mario Galaxy was a lot of fun. I remember that
No,
that was the
that
first
was
game that wowed me.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy was fantastic, and I agree with you. Like the whole in space aspect and how they made that possible
Hmm.
was incredible. I
Hmm.
agree. That one was very
Yeah.
good.
And the Dusty Garden Galaxy music has been in my head
Mhm.
rent free for 10 years now. Um, yeah, so
Nice.
that's a good one there. Yeah. So that's the first game that wowed me really.
Nice.
Um, what are some of the games you're playing now, Max? You want to talk about
I
that?
baby.
Oh, okay,
uh
maybe. Wait, do you want to talk about something else first? I mean, you
well,
can.
no, I mean I can talk about the games that I'm playing about currently. Currently, I am playing through Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
And I know that there are a lot of feelings that people have
That was a
with that
controversial game when it came
game.
out. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's okay. I'm not going to defend the game. It's absolutely shit. It's really hard to like a lot of the storylines and the plot beats are really hard for me to just like muscle through. I'm definitely mostly there for the aesthetic and the first person shooting aspect. The story is mid at best. Like I I don't want to put too much shit on CD Projekt Red because they do have really good games. The Witcher series is like really good. They can build good games. But I don't know. There's some sort of nihilist Marxism fucking philosophical whatever that they're doing in Cyberpunk 2077 that just doesn't really register with me the way that I think they wanted it to. Like I wanted the game to be this fun futuristic shooter game, and they threw in all of this philosophy at me that I just
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. And then Phantom Liberty also, like, that update came out relatively recently, I
Yeah,
think.
that came out in October or November, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phantom Liberty makes it better, kind of.
The devs said, funny enough, that once Phantom Liberty came out, that you should start a new game because what happens is you
Mhm.
actually have new things in the world itself that have already existed because
Right.
Phantom Liberty dropped. There's changes to it now, so
Right.
it's kind of like playing a new game again.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I
It
mean,
I don't
it's had
it's
a tough
interesting.
time. It's had a tough
Yeah.
time.
It's very tough. If anything, I think I would like CD Projekt Red to make another Cyberpunk game.
Which they are.
I want him to make like Cyberpunk 2075 or even 2078 and focus less on the nihilistic philosophy that the first game had. You know, just let
Yeah.
me have fun in the environment. Basically just create GTA in this cyberpunk aesthetic. That's what I want.
Without the multiplayer, maybe.
Yeah, without
Yeah,
the
I
multiplayer.
think because the thing is Cyberpunk was always supposed to be a single player experience, so I think
Hmm.
that needs to stay that way.
I
I
agree.
played through the base game. I didn't play through Phantom Liberty.
Hmm.
Um, I so I played it after all the bugs are fixed, so I don't really
Sure.
know what it looked like when it launched, but I heard that
Hmm.
it was just garbage when it came out, which sucks because, again, you talk about, what was their last game before that? The Witcher 3. Witcher
Hmm.
3 is easily, well, while it is one of the most published, oversold games ever, it
Sure.
is it is definitely probably their best game ever made. I mean,
Hmm.
easily. I mean, it was also their
Sure.
best-selling game ever made. But The Witcher 3 is just what I love about it is that it's the third game in the franchise, yet it's a standalone game and you don't need to know anything about the previous games. And at the same
Right.
time, it still finishes the franchise and you know how it finishes and why. And I think
Hmm.
that's an incredible accomplishment in and of
Oh yeah, it's
itself.
perfect.
And I remember when that game came out graphically, that was like out of this world, like when that came
Hmm.
out. I mean, it still is kind of today. I mean, it's pretty
Sure.
incredible when you look at The Witcher 3.
Right.
um I don't know what it was about The Witcher 3. I loved The Witcher 3, but I wasn't as into it as everyone else was.
Hmm.
I wasn't really connecting much with Geralt. I found him to be rather annoying, actually. I find Geralt to be just this masculine guy who complains about everything in the face of the earth. Oh, Jennifer, fuck me. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Fair.
it's I don't know. He just happens to be just that kind of character. And like I get it. They're trying to do like like a tough masculine men can't have feelings character. And then
Right.
part of his
Stoicism.
character development is that he shows feelings, which is, that was kind of like a Hollywood plot point for a long time. But
Hmm.
um I remember when that one came out, that was a big deal. Witcher 3 when that came out. But going back to Phantom Liberty, I never played
Hmm.
Phantom Liberty. I loved when I
I
played Cyberpunk. I used Cyberpunk to kind of test my 4090. That was like my game to kind
Sure.
of like I had just installed my I just built my new computer and
Right. Right.
like
Right.
I was like, okay, let me test the most highest graphics game I can think of, and at the time it was
Right.
Cyberpunk because that
Right. Right.
was
Right.
you know um
Good benchmark
it
to
was a good
like see
benchmark test. Yeah.
can your PC actually handle it?
Yeah.
I get that.
I should have done Crisis.
Um,
Oh, man.
I don't know necessarily what to say about Phantom Liberty though. Like it is good. I'm not saying that it's bad. What I'm saying is that I think it's tainted mostly by the main story because the main story has to take priority to this like side quest DLC thing, and because of that I think Phantom Liberty falls short because it has to cater to the main story. If it was its own thing with a different person, I think I would have liked it a lot better.
I mean, that's fair. For
Um
sure, yeah.
uh And not to throw shade on CD Projekt Red any further, but I think they were relying maybe a little too heavily on Idris Elba. Um, kind of like how they were relying a little too heavily on Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
Keanu Reeves was the selling point. And
exactly,
he was
and it
okay.
fucking worked.
Yeah.
Like,
he was good, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
He was good. It's just like
yeah.
okay, like, and Keanu Reeves, great. Like, okay,
Right.
what's your actual game about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You can't use, I mean, you can, but you shouldn't use an actor as your selling point. You know what I mean? Especially if he's a Hollywood actor and he's never done games before.
Right.
Keanu Reeves. So, you know,
I thought Keanu did a great job.
I think he did great. Yeah, he did great.
Yeah.
He portrayed the character he was asked to. Yeah.
Right. It's just back to the story. I think the story should have just been better. Should have been different. Should have been anything else. Or at minimum, there should have been a definitive happy ending.
I guess so. I mean, I think that, you know, you have to understand that it's kind of like a prologue game because this is the intro to the world and stuff like that. But I just feel like I when they announced Cyberpunk 2077, what I pictured was yes, obviously it's a dystopian like world set in like this massive future with tons of tech everywhere. But I expect it to kind of almost be like a Far Cry game, like just chaos everywhere. And it just wasn't like that. It was just kind of it was full of action, don't get me wrong, but there was no, you know, there was no like where's all the explosions? You know what I mean? Like I didn't find any explosions or anything.
It was too close to like GTA 5 or even GTA 4. Where like if they had just gone full GTA 4, I think the game would have been really good. Where you have this main storyline, but that's not like the whole point of the game. It's just a slice of life. You're following the actions of this one guy as he travels through the city and makes bank on whatever the hell he wants to do. I think if Cyberpunk was treated like that, it might do better. And I'm not saying that they can't have this philosophical, nihilistic vision of this dystopian world that they have. It's a real fucking bummer that you can't do anything. No matter what you do, no matter where you go, no matter who you fall in and out of love with, no matter what you try, it's just a bummer ending. All of the endings that you can get, it's just a fucking bummer. And I would have loved at least one happy ending. Just one.
One happy ending to make my dystopia realistic.
Exactly. This slice of life something. And I mean, it doesn't even have to be a perfect ending, but something where it's like, it's good. It's good. I don't know.
I get it.
It's like Fallout has happy ending options.
I mean, happy is subjective. If you nuke the whole world, that's happy for some people.
Fair. But I was just like there are objectively better endings in Fallout than there was in Cyberpunk 2077. It's just a bummer across the board in Cyberpunk.
I understand. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Cyberpunk is what you're playing currently, so
yes,
I will. I can't wait for the review video. I'm just kidding. I'm playing through. Well, Horizon Forbidden West just came out on PC, so I'm replaying Horizon Zero Dawn again. And this time I'm playing it in, 4K, what should have been HDR.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's amazing how far graphically Horizon Zero Dawn has come. Because I remember playing that on a PlayStation 4 Pro, and it was still good. The graphics were still very, very good, but the problem with it was the frame rate. The frame rate was not consistent. It was 30,
Mm,
goes down to 23, goes back up to 30 again, depending on how dense it was.
sure.
And this one I'm playing at 144 frames in 4K, and
Mhm.
it's just incredible. This is how I always imagined Horizon Zero Dawn to look like. And I can't
Mhm.
wait to play Forbidden West. I hear Forbidden West is just beautiful on PC. I've already
Oh, I
played it on
bet.
PS5, but I'm sure on PC it's even more pretty.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so that's what I'm playing.
Nice.
I have less complaints than you do about the game I'm playing. um, but another thing that Max and I also we'd like to play games together too. One of
Mm,
the games that we constantly get mad at and somehow yet still go back to is
mhm.
Fortnite. Um,
Oh,
which we'll save.
yeah.
We'll save Fortnite for an entire
We'll say,
episode, but we
yeah,
could
yeah.
talk a little bit about Fortnite right now. Um, Fortnite has come a long way since
Oh, yeah.
launch.
Like since when did we even actually start? It was before chapter 2 was even a thought.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I think it was. I mean, Keith is the one that introduced me to you.
Mhm.
Max's friend Keith. Um, and or well, he's my friend now too, but at the time he was
Mhm.
Max's friend. Um, I want to say that we started playing. It was when the game launched recently. It
Pretty
wasn't. It
pretty
wasn't like.
close.
It wasn't like far out. I
Yeah.
think. I mean, let me just quickly. Again, we're gonna save this for another episode,
Oh,
but let me
yeah,
just
yeah.
look up Fortnite seasons really quick.
Mhm.
Um, because it was definitely chapter one. It was back when you couldn't swim,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
just hysterical to me. And it was before we even knew chapters were a thing.
Right.
Um, this is not helpful article. Let me see here. Okay, here's a. Please help us personalize your experience. I'm an adult website. Don't worry. Um, so season. I want to say season 5,
Mm.
because that I remember you and I. Maybe it was season 4, because I remember you and I grinding for the tier 100 pass reward, which was
Mm.
that um it was the guy with the mask and the cape, and he's got the pink lightning over him. If I showed you Drift, that's his name, Drift.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was the Viking season. It was the one where they had just introduced the Viking Nord stuff with the Viking
Okay.
landing area, near
I s-
Haunted.
Right.
Haunted Hills. Oh, rip Haunted Hills. I
I
miss that
yeah,
place.
I know. So good.
And
I want to say that I might have been playing a little before that.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's when we met, though. That's when
Oh,
we
oh,
started
yeah, yeah.
playing. Yeah. And
Hmm.
what's funny is they recently did Fortnite OG. I
Mhm.
remember we all went through Fortnite OG,
Uh,
and what's hysterical about that is that that map is built for building particularly, and
mhm.
I remember us getting on and just being like, wow, this map sucked. Like,
It sucked.
yeah, it was so empty, so open.
Mhm.
It like had nothing in it.
It
It was like
doesn't work for no build mode.
it also doesn't
It's
work for
just
modern day Fortnite anymore, because it's
no.
just modern day Fortnite packs so much into their map now.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So many places for cover, so many opportunities to try and get around people. Mounting is a huge thing.
yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but to keep on topic with what we're currently playing
Mhm.
through. I mean, we haven't really touched it recently, but what do you think of chapter 2 of season 2 of chapter 5? I think it's kind of it's not really grabbing me the way the
Mhm.
last season did, but
Yeah, I okay. So this is the current one that's going through, right?
yeah, the Greek god stuff.
I like Greek mythology. I'll put that out there that maybe we have an episode talking about Greek mythology. Um
That's all you. I know nothing about Greek
okay.
mythology. I'm kidding. I'll
I
research some
I can
stuff.
I can take you through that road. But I mean like I'm definitely a huge fan of Artemis. I like a lot of the aesthetics that are going on. Hades could have been better, but I still like it. It's interesting. They did Poseidon super dirty though.
Yeah, Poseidon made of slurp juice. Really?
That was like I know they're trying to be funny. I know that they're trying to be like, oh haha, we made the slurp juice guy Poseidon. It's like, first off, you missed an opportunity because you could have made fish stick Poseidon and that would have been
It would have made
more
much more
funny
sense.
and
Yeah.
made more sense. But like you have a whole new model for Zeus, Aphrodite, Hades, Artemis, uh, and you just make Poseidon the joke character. The god of the sea is your like. You could have. There are so many other people that you could have made the joke character, and it would have been great.
Medusa. Medusa's always the
Oh
joke
yeah,
character. Yeah.
but she does have a skin though, and it
She
looks
does.
sick as fuck.
That's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. I wanted
I
to
don't
talk
know.
about this because this is a lot of people are considering this to be the worst Fortnite season ever.
Hmm.
Um,
It's yeah.
because the battle pass is disappointing, and on top of that, the Zeus's bolt is when it hits something is super OP, but then you're
Right.
so vulnerable when you're
Oh
using it.
yeah.
And
Absolutely.
then the wings, the
Icarus's wings.
Icarus's wings is just that needs to be fixed. That is just such a broken part of the game right now. It's crazy. If you do a direct hit with Icarus's wings, you do 210 damage.
Gross.
Which is just disgusting. That's your whole health bar and your shield.
Yep.
Like
I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you're going to have shield, don't make any of the weapons cut through all of it.
yeah.
Like I want an opportunity to like have shield actually mean something. There's a
know.
reason I put it on.
No,
Let me have
right now there
that.
isn't. Right now there isn't a reason to put it on.
Oh, stupid.
But yeah, Max and I play Fortnite a lot with a group of friends we have. We play it almost every day. We get our dailies done. It's a game that we are constantly finding ourselves raging at, yet somehow it keeps us coming back. And I don't know why.
I think it's the aesthetic. Personally, I like the aesthetic.
Well, it's just hysterical because I always ask you, do you hate this game? You said, oh yeah, absolutely. You always say
no.
it.
Absolutely. No, I despise that game. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. There's so much about it that I just hate. But I go back because it is a shooter game. There's a little bit of a gambler's mentality because you are fighting against like 99 other people to try and be the best. It's very like the world's largest game of King of the Hill. And like you can get good and you can learn and improve, which I think we have over the years that we've been playing this game. But there's also like, I don't know, the aesthetic about it also hits me in a certain way that I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then there's all the references, all of the DC skins that I have, and Rick and Morty, and
See, that's my problem with the game is the game does not know what it wants to be. Like it's I enjoy the game because I enjoy playing it with friends, but to be honest with you, if you guys didn't play it, I probably wouldn't because it's just to me is just like it's having its identity crisis. Now it's starting to become the metaverse. Like what?
Right.
Like wait.
Yeah.
Like why? There's no real reason to. The metaverse already exists with Facebook. Despite how you feel about it or how anyone feels about it, it's there already. I don't know. It's having an identity crisis. I don't think it knows what it wants to be. That's the problem.
Maybe.
But anyway,
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll save that for another episode. But
Sure.
we have reached about 45 minutes. I think.
Okay.
We should call it soon. Anything else you want to discuss as a conclusion or a wrap up here?
Right. I mean, I think we got it down pretty good. We talked about some of the games that we disliked. We talked about a lot of the games that we do like.
I mean, there's a million video games out there that I could list, but like the big ones I've mentioned. So
for sure,
you know, there's always God forbid we talk about them in more episodes, right?
Right? Oh my goodness. Oh, the scandal.
The scandal. What are we, the royal family? No, I'm just kidding. Jeez. All right. Well, that's been another episode of the Dialogue Dome. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you all in the next one.